I held it because I successfully foretold events for unnumbered people in New York City. I had almost the entire metropolitan crowd, the entire metropolitan opera. They came to meet. And I so believed in what I did, I predicted with conviction. It worked, and they were so sold on it. And then I had to have an experience one day to show me it was only my own intense belief in these little symbols that made them work. And I came into my friend's home that I taught her how to read charts, how to set them up. Her name was Carpenter, Norma Carpenter, and I taught her. And then, having retired from a teaching profession in Scranton, Pennsylvania, she had a small pension from the railroad where her husband worked, plus a small pension from her former job. So she eked out a living, but though she could augment it in a nice way by telling and reading charts. And I taught her how to do it. When I came to a place one day, she lived in a hotel, Norma was in tears. I said, "What's wrong, Norma?" Well, she said, "A man called me up. He was recommended by a friend of mine, and he was very eager to see me right away. He had this fantastic deal on. So over the phone before he arrived, he gave me his birthday, his hour, everything about it. And so I erected the chart. And when he came, I told him I'm so convinced of this good fortune falling his way today that I can close the book on it. He said to me, "Mrs. Carpenter, if you're telling me the truth, I will give you $100. And she said so confidently, "Well, give it to me now, because it has to work today." And she gave me all the reasons which I knew. I taught them to her. How it had to work today because of this transiting moon over these certain aspects of the chart. He said, "No, if it works, you will get it today, but I will not give it to you now." I said, "What's wrong with that?" Well, she said, I made up this chart from a bound volume of ephemerides. I was sitting at the open window, it's hot. And so I turned away, I was diverted, and when I went back, I didn't realize the wind had blown over the pages. And I erected a chart of a man who was born 10 years before this man. This man wasn't even born. And I progressed by chart from this horoscope made up 10 years before the birth of this man. I said, "Norma, did you believe it when you spoke to him?" She said, "Certainly I did." I said, "Forget it. Just completely forget it. It's done." I was in her room, her suite of rooms that night, around 8, when a Western Union boy came upstairs and delivered a check, a Western Union check for $100. And the chart was drawn of a man who wasn't born. He was born 10 years after this chart of a man. But Norma cannot sell that because she feels they all believed in me. She cannot buy the pearl of great price because she feels her only security is to get her little small check from the railroad in Pennsylvania and her small check from the schoolhouse in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and eke it out with this, so she cannot give up and buy the pearl.